Okay, what's going on, boys? We're going to show you how to use the 5212, and I've actually got my eye tracker on the screen so you can see exactly what I'm looking at. So if I look down, you can see me look down. If I look to the top, you can see it. Now with the 5212, as I mentioned, I'm going to kick the ball out of play here 1 second. I'm going to hope to God that this play doesn't leave or do anything funky. I'm going to show you tactics in a second. If you haven't got the players to do it, what you can do is you can sub players off. So I'm just going to give you a quick example. So I can put, for example, Davies on like that. And you can always sub on a winger. So that's the way. I'll go over the tactics and instructions towards the end. I know there's a bit of confusion, should I say, in that video. And maybe I kind of stuttered when I said something. So anyway, 5-2-1-2, you're going to see exactly how I play. Now look at my eyes, yeah? You see when I get the ball, I'm looking at the radar, I'm looking at Davies, right? You're going to always have a player free, listen to me, on the wing. No matter what, those players will be free. If you take your time like that, and you make it bait and you make it obvious, your opponent is going to know what to do. That is why I mentioned hug the sidelines. Just to make this a bit easier to understand, I'm going to activate hug the sidelines now. And it's going to move my left back and right back wider. Now, the reason why I say this is important is that when you have the ball, you're going to have that outlet option always on the wing. You see that? So you can play normally, whatever you want to do. But if you want to, you can use those wingers like so. You can say get the ball with Davies. Then I can rotate the ball inwards like so. Then here I'm going to try to go for the goal or whatever. Look at the left back and right back. I have to even point him. I could just look at them, my eyes. They still come back. People always say, oh, look, this is basically post-patch gameplay. Now I'm going to lose the ball with Davies to show you an example. I'm going to lose the ball with Davies here. And you see the ball has been lost. Now look at, for example, Mendy on the top. Look at, this is the thing with the fullbacks. They're going to come back. Davies is a high-low. You can see on the radar. It takes a slower time to come back. You see with the high-low work rates? That is why the work rates are important, because you can see Davies here hasn't got that ability to come back in time. So that means we're now defending temporarily with the back four. You see Davies entering the screen now. That is where you see post-patch the biggest change. Although Davies is a better player, you've got to be careful. So as soon as you lose the ball, you've got to let go. So I'll give you an example here. So let's say I lose the ball with Davies. In fact, I'm just going to run straight in the middle. In fact, instead, you can see Rapinoe making for that run. You can see, look here, I'm waiting for Mendy. I'm doing a driven pass to Mendy. See that? In between the lines, driven pass. Going to wait. Here you can see waiting for that cutback, looking at that player down the wing. And we just get a bit unlucky there. Win the ball back over here. That's fine. Now you can see here, Davies already back because we didn't commit him too forward. So this is the thing. If you're going to push the fullbacks forward, just be careful on the other one. We're going to be playing a bit more natural now. As my opponent crosses in the ball. It's like here, you can see we get the ball here. Go in here. We're doing a 1-2 to the fullback. We've got no one to pass the ball to. We can do a 1-2 inwards. Not the best of passes for myself there. I just wanted to show you here. When you get the ball here, you can do a 1. So let's say you got no one to pass the ball to, which you should have. But you can always do a 1-2 back inwards. Or you can do it to the left centre back. You can say get the ball with the left centre back. I create that triangle. And that's it. We've beaten the line. There you can see here. Mismatch. Triangle created. Then here you just got to wait for that fullback, as you can see, to go forward. Then you launch the L1 triangle, and then you can bring the ball going forward like that. Simple as that. That's the simplest and easiest way to build up with this formation. Yes, you won't have that player, but you still have a back four in shape. You see that? We still got the back four. It's just a bit stretched, and you can see that's Davies not almost taking his time to come back there. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you do have two, remember I said to you in the video, if you have two players, have one attacking player. So Davies will be the more attacking player, and Mendy will still be the attacking player going forward. But Mendy can at least come back. That's why you can argue work rates are very, very important for this formation. You're going to get the ball with Llorente. Not going to panic. You can see, look, we've got the 4-1-2-1-2 down the middle. Then you can see we've got all that acres of space. And I don't cut the ball back, but you can see how effective this formation can be with a cutback. If you use the cutback a lot, you can see this formation is very, very effective because you have that cam, that last minute runner, and you do have the two strikers. You can see here we're defending in a 5-2-1-2. We've got the two centre mids. Again, using that, we're going to do a 1-2, sending those fullbacks going forward. Waiting. And again, if you haven't got this option available, you're going to have always the opposite end free. You see the opposite end free? And again, you can use the middle. Then you can see, look, we've opened up the defence because my opponent is committed. My opponent got very, very lucky using that Vidic. You can see that's why Vidic is just so slow on the ball. This is why I never really liked Vidic, nor did I ever do him or Blanc. They're just... Although maybe you can argue Vidic is a tad bit better. The issue is with them, they're just too slow. So again, we're going to be playing a bit more naturally now. Again, waiting. You can see here, we can see Davies. I'm trying my best to still speak about what I'm going to do and try to do it at the same time, although it's going to be difficult. So again, you can see here, we can see Koundé, we can see Llorente. We're going to trigger that player forward, bring that ball 1-2, and you can see we easily can get it done. And if you want to make this formation even better, you can use the player lock. I'll show you some more examples in the next half, should I say. Then you can see, look, we got Davies also, not Davies, but we got Mendy free available on the opposite end. We can ask Mendy for the overlap, cut the ball back. Then here we can do whatever we want to do. We can take a shot towards goal or whatever. But you can see, for example, I don't have to even point anymore. You can see, for example, typical old school Neil Guide since FIFA 19. Anyone that members the eye track in FIFA 19, do give the shout out or do write down comments down below if anyone does remember. Let's see if there's any old existing users for those who haven't got fed up of this game. But yes, you can see the weaknesses of this formation, as I said, is the back three. Now the back three is still powerful, but you're going to have a player to pass the ball to. If you know how to switch the ball quickly, you can easily get into these gaps like this, create a chance like that, and then take a chance towards goal. You got to be quick in the final third. You can't be diligent. You can't take your time and be like, okay, yes you can. If you want to play slow, if you want to play a bit more progressive, okay, you can. But the way to kind of kill your opponent is like, you know, these fullbacks. Use the L1 triggers, you can push them forward. It's all about time. When you get the ball, bring the ball back like this. Then you can do the overload. Then there's too many players inside the box. Your opponent really can't handle it because it's kind of like a 4-4-2. Sorry, a 4-1-2-1-2. And you can see here, if you've got the weaker player like with Davies, you can always bring them back manually. Say Davies, I brought him back manually like that. And you can see like here, we've got the back five. I'm not going to commit too much. And you can see we've got a back four now. Then you can apply the pressure, do a slide tackle. That was a very nice double McGeady spin from my opponent. Or stop and go. Well played. Not the best of slide tackles. It is what it is. Okay, here we're going to defend this now. Going to go top left, I'm presuming. Yep, a bit too far away. Should have probably nudged my goalkeeper a bit. Don't know why this guy's celebrating. But this guy will come to regret later on. We're going to go through the tactics and instructions now as well while we're at it. The tactics and instructions are similar to the ones that I explained in the video. I'm going to go over positions because positions are also very, very important. So when you go to here, so you can just pause this and copy this. You can use balanced, as I mentioned. I use stay central, get it behind, but just for this section, I'm going to use balanced. I'll explain to you why, but you can use stay central, get it behind. Cams on, stay forward, as I mentioned. Left center mid, right center mid, both of them on cover center, step while attacking. Again, ideally you want players with pace here, just so they can cover for the winger. You can always put cover wing if you want, if you really feel weak on the wing areas, and join the attack for both the full backs like that. And then these are the tactics again, just copy and paste these as well. And those are the custom tactics. So you kind of understand how the formation works, the weak points, what's strong, what's not. I'm going to play a bit more naturally now, because I think you kind of understand the gist. The first is more of explaining. So you can see, for example, like here, you can always activate hug the silent. This is what I mentioned. I mean, attacking fullbacks. So you can leave them both on stay back while attacking, and you can activate attacking fullbacks. The runs in between are very important. So that cam is kind of going to be someone that's going to be somewhat important, not just for someone who's, you know, bringing the ball going forward. I guess I kind of put stay forward on that player, because you kind of want that player to always be in that role. Ready to counter. You can see Bendy, we get the ball back here. It's going to bring the ball back, turn it back inside. Bring it back around. Break that triangle. That's the first line broken. Then from here we got sport for choice, and that was actually meant to be to the other striker. It didn't really work out. I'm just going to apply pressure. Player is actually pretty decent. Kind of suspected my opponent's team was a bit on the weekend, so I just kind of thought it was a bit of a joke. I'm still going to win the game anyway, or hopefully, unless I get completely thrashed. Opponent's doing the same tactics again and again and again though. Again, waiting for those fullbacks now, waiting. And again, we're going to change to fast ball to play around 70 minutes as well. And you can see, look here, you can see those fullbacks. That is ready. It's all about timing of those. Then you've got 3 players inside the box. Then you can just go back for whatever you want to do. Now, we are playing precision shooting, so if we do miss those chances, that is completely my fault. That is completely my fault. That's not the game's fault. I have to always mention that, because some people are like, oh, Neil, why'd you miss? I can't always score everything. It's not always especially when I'm talking and speaking. Trust me, this is one of the most hardest skills. To find someone that can talk and play at the same time. As you can see, I tried to not time that, I tried to shoot normally and aim it and then got it confused. But yeah, to speak and play the game is actually so difficult. That is why if you watch most streamers, they cannot play and read the chat. It's almost very, very difficult to pay attention. That's why if you look at most streamers, they'll always play the game. That's why I kind of miss streaming. Maybe I'll start streaming FIFA again, more just a time thing. But if you realize a lot of streamers, they don't actually play the game and talk. Only a few can do it, a very, very few. Because it's actually very difficult, especially trying to explain what you're doing and then doing it after. But you can see again here, that's Davies making that run. And you can see also pushing that fullback apart. And now that's created space in the middle. You see that there? So you see that? What we done is, I'm just going to pause the game. I'm going to show you now. So you see that initial fullback. Now watch, I'm just going to go 10. Now watch Davies. You see Davies, you can see the, I'm just going to, hang on, let me change the camera angle. Wow. Do you know what? Let's just go with broadcast. So you can see Davies, right? That's the left back, and you see left back commits forward, but also the left back locks onto that player. And then when I bring that cam in, that central player to centre mid, it's a mismatch. He has to commit with that centre back, and then that creates the breaking of the line. So it's kind of like if the player doesn't mark the player, that player is free anyway. So that's why it's quite difficult. Like once you understand, it takes some time to understand how powerful this formation is. Probably one of the most powerful formations inside the game. But once you find, you know, how to get through with your opponent, again, like here, so like, you know, these situations like here, you got to be passive. This is what I meant, that you got to be careful. Again here, just waiting. Now I want to show you some Neil Guide's top tips now. If you can learn how to use the player lock and stuff like that, you can use, or like, you know, man your passing like this. Maybe not the best, maybe a bit too much power there, but you can understand what I was trying to do. If you can use precision passing and man your passing, you're pretty much good to go. What you can do is you've got Alvarez here. We're going to put a high player, or we're going to put Llorente here. Actually, what we're going to do, we're going to drop it like this. So two high highs would be, in my eyes, a perfect combination, because then you have a bit of everything, you know. You really have a bit of everything. So I think if you can get two players, ideally both of them, they're high. Even if one is high medium, it's completely fine. The reason why I just say this is because, in fact, you can even put a high medium. I'll show you with Smith. This is an example with an attacking player, Smith. The pace is so important because they run back and forward, and the work rates makes them run back and forward. That is why work rates are so important. People always ask me that, you know, why is it like, even if you put an instruction on a player, why they take such a long time to come back? I just wanted to show you the differences between Davies. You can see here I'm being aggressive in my centre back, but you got to be really careful, because if you be too aggressive like here, you can break a line like this, and you got to be able to recover. So just remember, if you do watch anyone playing this formation and you see them running out with their centre backs, you have to always ask yourself, can I do that? Can I recover in those situations? And that's why these kind of tutorials are very good pressure for my opponent to know to press that. But you can see, look here, that player is always going to be free, you know? That player is always going to be free. Then I can create the attack here. Then you can see, look here, it's all over for my opponent, basically. If that pass comes in time, you can see why it makes it very difficult. You know, once you break that line, you know, if someone, especially someone like this player who is maybe good in some areas and weak in other areas, it can be very difficult to defend against. Now, if you're trying to win the game, let's say you're closing this down, is this maybe the formation to use? Probably not. Maybe that's when I'll change like a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1. You can see my opponent is using a 4-3-3. And you can see, look on the radar. Can you see how my opponent's one of the centre mids? Look at that. Can you see? Look on the radar. I'm going to have to rewind it 30 seconds. You see how one of my players went to mark that player? Because you see, when I have the ball, that player is just unmarked. I now pushed another player out of position. Now that's set me up for the wing player. You can see the L1 trigger. I'm using a supplement there. You can do a bit of creative runs to push that play into the middle. I wanted to show you an example. I was trying to use creative runs there. You can see I haven't got that player. That's why that left centre back and right centre back is important for pace. You can see here. Remember, if you're not too sure, just do a tactical foul. I don't know what this guy's thinking. I'm going to do it again. Again, doing a 1-2, bouncing it back. And then we're going to do, it's offside, leave the ball. Thank you. And I'm just going to now do a bit of pressure and win the ball back here, high up the pitch. Being careful, see, I'm being mindful of Haaland making that run in behind. Oh no, I nearly took I knew he did it again. And he took the player out. I gave away a penalty. I don't know what I was doing there. Nearly messed it up. That was absolute mistake from my end. Did not mean to do that. But again, you can see the radar. I can see that player is free in front of the defender. So I can now take the pass. Not the best of idea. That's the issue when you put... when the player makes that get it behind. You can always make those players target men as well. Target players, what they call them now. That way they don't make those runs it behind. But you can trigger them manually. So they kind of like... they're always there. The player is now unbalanced. But I'm just going to show you an example now in the last couple of minutes or so. Again, be careful. You can see that's my centre back going forward. I'm just going to bring the ball back here. And see if we can got time to show you. And you can see when you really get them missed, like if you like to do those cutbacks, man, it's so effective. Like you can really just take them. We got now a couple of seconds left. Fingers crossed my opponent doesn't leave. We're going to go to fast build-up play, direct passing, and I don't think we'll have enough time. Okay, we don't. But yeah, fast build-up play just makes them run even quicker. Well, guys, anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. That is basically how you use the 5-2-1-2, and you can see, especially when your opponent goes even more gung-ho, it's even easier to break it up. And you can see, for example, with the goal, well, not that goal over there, it was this one over here. You can see you swap the ball, you take a touch, and then you can see you push a player out, and you can see, look at the defensive line. See how the defense line has to shift, and no one's marking Davies at the bottom. You see that? I can actually look at it and show you. See, no one's marking Davies. See that 2v, literally 2v0 actually, because someone from the someone has to go, so the fullback goes. So if I wanted Mendy, I can then get the ball with Mendy and then lob the ball back. You see that? Or if you know how to do a whipped cross, you can whipped cross it. You never heard that from me, by the way. But you can whip cross it to those players as well to get the ball instantly to those players. But you can see those mismatch. It pulls the defender out of position. Now you can understand why the formation is so strong. Especially now with the post patch actually helps it with the lack of pressure, because now you're not going to get over pressed where you're congested in your own half. And now you have some of the half spaces available inside the middle. You can see again here with Davies, you can see the overlapping. It's very, very hard. Unless someone has a left mid, even then it's a 2v2. You still got that role. Then you can see you can bring the ball back there. Then you've got those two strikers inside the box. And you can see that's an example, as I mentioned, of that situation there. You can see that's when we break the defensive line. And the final goal, or 74th minute goal, is one that I wanted to mention. You can see my opponent is trying to gets caught out of play. You can see even with the back four in position, my left back and right back, they're forcing my opponent. If they got a 4-3-2-1, they're committing a player forward, like I think my opponent was doing here with his 4-3-2-1, with their left back being committing forward, is breaking those gaps and making it so easy. Then it just really becomes a bit of a mismatch. That is the 5-2-1-2. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Don't forget, if you want to get better at FIFA, you can come join and watch some more videos like this on Patreon. So patreon.com/NoGuides. We've got some more eye tracking in terms of pressing. I want to show you how to press with eye tracking and stuff like that. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.